This is Dr. Kaveh Lahun coming to you guys live from Optimal Care Wellness Center. On our interview today, we have Dr. Steve Czys, Wellness Influencers, is proud to present this talk, and we're going to be talking about diet, exercise, fueling your body, what to do, when to do, how to go about doing it. So, Dr. Stephen, welcome.
Hey, thank you.
Sir, give us a breakdown of what you have been doing and what you do, what your education is, and how long you have been doing it, and we will go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. So, I went to undergrad, pre-med business, went to chiro school at Palmer, played a lot of sports, focused a lot on just with sports and wanting to be, not lose. A huge focus on training and fitness and nutrition. And so I did a ton of my own reading on that because I was it's just what I did. And so I opened a private practice here in Wisconsin. And very quickly, I learned that what most people needed wasn't another adjustment or an x-ray or whatever. They needed someone to show them how to eat, show them how to exercise, and make a cool environment and guide them with it. And it's kind of a cool story. I was at a conference in Chicago, like a bunch of doctors in the room, chiro, whatever. And just looking around the room, very few doctors are healthy, right? They're falling asleep, they're overweight, they're hard, they can barely get up out of their seat, they're drinking a soda, eating a bagel. And, I look around the room and it's like, well, there's a handful of people that really, they just look vibrant and healthy. And it's like, well, what makes those people vibrant and healthy? Are they getting extra medications? Are they getting adjusted more often? It's like, of course not. They eat good, they exercise, they do it consistently. So I said, you know what, when I get home, I'm going to open a whole new business and just teach people that. So I started off, I would do fitness nutrition in the morning, go to the chiro office during the day, back to fitness nutrition in the afternoon. And then now it's to the point where we have 7 locations, number 8 opening here soon. Got and the outcomes we get with people it's mind blowing. Like I guess it's mind blowing at first, but now it's expected. Like it's just common to get that. Most people come in for weight loss, and then all of a sudden their Crohn's disease goes away, their Hashimoto's goes away, their arthritis goes away, everyone's brain fog goes away, their aches and pains, their fibromyalgia goes away. It's just so that's what it's evolved into now, and it's all I focus on.
Fantastic. Now, let's just dive right into it. And I do completely agree with you that some of the healthcare professionals and doctors are not the healthiest themselves. So when it comes to them preaching, it almost seems like if he was good, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah, I go with, you say some, I guess depends where in the world you are. Around here, it's most aren't very fit and healthy. But yeah, as I always say, people like, would you go to a dentist with rotten teeth? Or would you go to a broke financial advisor for money advice, right?
Yeah.
But somehow we still take health advice from people who aren't healthy at all. And to me, it's just my opinion. People don't have to agree with me. It doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
Or so many, I just had it just the other day, health professionals, family physicians giving exercise advice when they've never exercised a day in their life. And they give advice and it's just like, my gosh, it's utter nonsense. It's just bizarre to me, right? Why would you even just like, hey, just be honest. I don't know. I've never exercised before. Go talk to Dr. Czys.
The issue is this, that unfortunately these days, especially we just passed January and, everybody has their, their mindset that they're going to exercise and have a whole different, diet and lifestyle, and come mid-January, all those are forgotten all about. So let's start from the beginning. Can
I touch on that really quick? How to fix that? I think my first step with people is you can have the best diet plan in the world and the best workout program in the world and everything perfect, but if you don't apply it, it's useless, right? So what I really focus on is figuring out what people really care about. Kids, I love it when people have kids. So I really try and get people attached. Just think how much better your kids' lives are if you're eating good from them. If you can play with them instead of watch them play. If you can be active for many, many years. If you're not too tired, and then once people like attach eating well and exercising to making what they love the most better, that's how you get people committed that last forever. And then I get people, I really love when people, they'll like exercise is a stressor to them. And then once they get into it and they feel so good, it goes from a stressing to a blessing. So it's like, I love it when people go from, I've had women like it's like a friend drug them in. And then 6 months later, they're like, you couldn't drag me out of this place. I'm addicted. But the key is you just got to make it important to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
I have people that cripes, they'll drive 4 hours and wait in a line, whatever, to watch a football game. I don't care about that stuff, right? So, to me, it would take some serious motivation. But, you know what I mean? Like, just being a good role model and good dad and whatever, it's so motivating that it makes exercise easy. Makes it easy to choose an apple.
How do you keep that motivation? First of all, break it down for us. What is the mindset? How do you keep motivation? And how do you keep that motivation continuous?
All right, three things. No, one, I've always been good at observing other people, especially as a doctor, right? So I have patients come in who are 50 years old and they're miserable. They're in pain. It's like, well, why are they at this point? It's because of the choices they've made the previous 50 years. So for me, and then I'll have someone else come in, and I'll never forget, like I had this woman, she was like, oh man, in her 80s. And she was concerned because she had little ridges on her fingernails. That was her only complaint, right? But she was active and ate good and made good choices her entire life. So for me, it's really easy for me to observe people who are older than me and say, I want that life. How did they get that life? Okay, I'm going to do that. The other thing is I want my kids and I think future. So like I want my grandkids, and because I see grandpas where the grandkids are like, oh, we love grandpa. He's so active. He can play with us. He's like the active, cool grandpa. We just love being around him. Like, I want to be that guy. It's a long ways away, but I can't believe I'm already 40. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it's gross how fast time goes. So I think in the future, it's like, well, if I just work out a few times a week, choose good food, I'm going to be that. And then also really, really important is, kids might not listen to you, but they never fail to imitate you. So if I'm laying on the sofa eating Cheetos and drinking a Coke, what are my kids going to want to do? Right. So there's never bad food in our house because I just want to be a good role model. So I never drink anything other than water and, nut milk. And it's like those three things are also motivating. And then when you stack them up, it's like, I'll just never stop. And then now, I feel I'm 40 years old, but I feel like I'm 20. Like I feel great. It's like, why would I? And then if I do have, which I really don't anymore, but the last few times I had, say, like a cheat meal or like a pizza and just went all out, like I feel so bad that next evening and the next day. It's like, why would I ever want to feel like this? This sucks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
when you eat clean, the body rejects when you start giving it things that it shouldn't have.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like drinking alcohol, right? If you drink every day, like you acclimate to it. So I don't think I know. And this just came up the other day. I had one of my members, he's like, he's doing great. He's down a whole bunch of weight, feels amazing, killing it. He's like, I just got to tell you, it was a holiday party and I just had some whatever food. He's like, man, I felt awful. I was like, yes. He's like, I bet you a lot of people out there don't even know what it's like to feel good because they're in a constant state of like toxic junk food, poison haze. Like, you really don't know what it feels like to wake up, spring out of bed, feel energized, and can't wait to attack the day. It's always like, oh, I need my coffee, and you just drag, and you get the. So yeah, it's everything about it's addicting in a good way.
Well, in order for the benefits, let's talk about the diet first, and we will get into the exercise.
Okay.
Now we have all sorts of diets, and you and I know these are all craze goes away. It's keto, carno, I don't know, plant-based.
Yeah, there's a million.
What kind of a diet do you recommend for your people?
I call it like, I don't really give it a name. It's just like a relaxed, healthy diet for humans, right? So I was raised on a farm. I spent a ton of time in nature. And if you look at any mammal, right, if you take them away from the foods, the whole foods they ate in nature, they get sicker 100 times out of 100, right? It's like in a zoo. How do you try and keep zoo animals healthy? Feed them exactly what they would find in nature, okay? So I stick to whole foods. Like anything processed, I just won't eat it and I won't give it to my kids, like anything, ever. I won't drink sugary drinks or sodas, ever. I just won't do it. The one big thing that I do, and I've had so much results with this, and it just backstory, I was raised on a Wisconsin dairy farm, right? So dairy my whole life, but I had chronic digestive pain my whole life, terrible snoring my whole life, sinus issues my whole life. I was on inhalers and medications for I don't know how many years. And then I get into grad school, diarrhea, I mean, just terrible. And, but I was a wrestler, sport guy, so you just be tough. You don't talk about how you feel, right? You just tough through it all the time.
That's right.
So I was always like, I just got to be tough, be tough, be tough. And there was one moment I almost broke down and asked them to take me to the hospital. Like I was really close because I was in a lot of pain. But anyhow, I get into grad school and someone's like, you should cut out milk. And I was like, you're crazy. I'm from a dairy farm. So then I really started digging into it and cutting out dairy like 15 years ago. It was about one of the best things I've ever done in my life. And when you really dig into it, I was going to make an educational video on this here actually tomorrow. I wrote blogs and as part of my book. That's a big thing that I really encourage people is to get away from dairy as much as possible. And then grains. I never eat wheat, like ever. Whole wheats, refined wheats. I just, instead of having like stir frying a pile of rice, I have extra vegetables and cut out the rice. And then I like meats I eat on a regular basis, but I won't, or well, I shouldn't say won't, but rarely get like conventionally raised meats. I like free ranging, grass fed. I love eggs. We eat eggs on a regular basis. So our diet is, I keep it really simple. And for all my members, I lay it out. I show like exactly what groceries to buy, what meals to make. And I make healthy eating easy. It doesn't have to be hard. Like it's really, really easy if someone just gives you the steps and tools and how to do it. So my diet consists of just really healthy meats, fruits, vegetables, nuts, few seeds. I drink water, eat lots of berries and fruits. I don't drink, it's kind of funny. Some people are like, well, fruit's going to make me, I've yet to meet a person that's overweight because of whole fruit. I eat whole fruit all the time. I've not one person ever. I try to, a lot of vegetables and it's easy. So for me, a typical, I'll start with supper. A typical supper is some sort of like baked chicken thighs or baked fish or venison with a veggie stir fry or roasted veggies. And then my fruit or my dessert is always banana, apple, berries, some sort of fruits. But then I always make extra veggies. So when I get up in the morning, I can fry a few eggs and I got eggs and veggies for breakfast. So like that's my routine over and over and over. And then I often skip lunch just because I'm busy or whatever, or I'll just have an apple or something. And then my favorite snacks are like a fruit with nuts or a fruit with almond butter or pickled eggs, pickled fish, sauerkraut, get some good probiotics to me. And it's just rinse and repeat over and over and over and over. And that's so the big thing I do is make that really easy for people so I can turn that into a habit for them. So instead of getting up and having a bagel, right, you get up and have a couple fried eggs. And instead of running to the gas station and getting junk food, it's like, you know what, I'm going to plan ahead and bring apples. And just create the habits.
It's planning. Easy. Planning is where that is. And you got to know what you want and how you want to get there and then plan for it. Now,
actually, real quick, I think I explained it's like a cell phone. So when I first got my smartphone, I was like kind of overwhelmed. It's like, how in God's name am I going to, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like, how did I live without this thing?
Yeah.
I find healthy eating the same way. It's kind of overwhelming at first. But once someone shows you how to do it, it's like, it's so easy. How did I not just do this my whole life?
Very true. And now quinoa. And we know there was a huge craze about quinoa.
Right.
What's your opinion on that?
So my, actually, I just posted this last week. I don't even want to call it a cheat meal. So a lot of people are like, oh, I love spaghetti. So instead of having spaghetti, I say make quinoa, dump in sauce and call it SpaghettiOs. Right. So it's not a staple in my diet. So this is what I had the other day. It was quinoa with spaghetti sauce with ground venison. And then I used nutritional yeast as my Parmesan cheese. So it's a super healthy far better meal relative to processed wheat. But that being said, you know, I would rather someone see more vegetables, more fruits, more healthy meats, healthy fats, and just have quinoa sparingly.
Actually, I have had a lot of people who we coach. They ask me, Doc, there's these pastas that they're made out of quinoa. What about them? And I always tell them, it had to be processed to look like a pasta.
Yeah.
So no good.
Yep. My quinoa is just whole quinoa, right? Mm-hmm. And then too, if you actually, a lot of those quinoa pastas, so if you flip it over and look at the ingredients, they put quinoa really big on the box. But then if you look in the ingredients, they add other stuff in it. So they have a little quinoa in there just so they can put quinoa really big on the box.
Very true.
And,
very
yeah,
true.
And you'll see that with a lot of foods where they'll, salad dressings especially, they'll say olive oil on the front, and you flip it over and it's pretty much all canola or soy or some garbage oil with a little bit of olive oil in there just so they can write that big on the front.
I was just reading actually a little research. It was about ketchup. It said 3 tablespoon servings of a ketchup equals to 1 Krispy Kreme donut. 12 grams of sugar.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet you. I wouldn't doubt it.
And then they were talking same serving of ketchup with ice cream. The ketchup has 4 teaspoons more sugar than vanilla ice cream on the same serving.
Yeah, it would depend, you know, obviously on the brand. So I'm guessing it was like a Heinz or something like that.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, big commercial brand. There are, that's the thing too, we show people. It's pretty simple. Flip it around and look at the ketchup label. And if the second ingredient is sugar, you're probably something you should kind of pass on that. But I try too and get people, you know, I grew up, you know, dairy farm, meat, potatoes, salt, pepper. And then as I got older, I worked in a restaurant and really got introduced to herbs and spices. So get away from the ketchups and, you know, use some rosemary and cilantro and curry. And, oh, man, I just love that stuff. I'm just very grateful. I was actually, you know, worked in a restaurant for a while. And it changes your taste, right? You start to crave it. And you just love it.
For the members, say they're coming into you and they just want to start exercising. They just want to start it. What do you recommend?
Start exercising. Yep. So our
what kind of exercise are we talking here?
Like, are you talking to a person who's never exercised in their life?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I would think about, it depends. But for a lot of people, whatever you enjoy. I actually just had someone the other day, a woman I was working in Florida. She likes bike riding. I was like, all right, bike ride every day. Just go out and go for a bike ride. And if you don't feel like doing it, just do what you enjoy. Whatever's active that you enjoy, and start getting in the habit of that. And then it's like, hey, if you're ready to go to the next level, I'm a huge, huge fan of working out with people. Because humans are pack animals, right? And I think the best workout, I don't think it is, the best workout equipment known to man is a human being to work out with. Right? Because you motivate each other, you push each other, you can't help be a little competitive. It's more fun. You can encourage each other. So I always say this, I would take a human being, I don't even need shoes. Just give me a human being to work out with over the fanciest gym on the planet by myself. And I think that's for sure. Actually, I was just telling you, so I used to be a wrestler too. So I love wrestling. And I just listened to this story. Are you familiar with like the guys from Dagestan?
Yes, right? I am.
So they're bad dudes, right? Like toughest guy in the UFC is from Dagestan, the toughest wrestler on the planet. Like some of the toughest guys on the planet are all from this one little community. So anyhow, this American wrestler was just there. He just went there to train for 3 weeks, just to, you know, learn and get better. And he's like, training in these villages, they don't even have running water, right? So they cook food on a wood stove. They heat their home with a wood stove. No running water. Obviously, no like fancy equipment or gear or fancy supplements or anything. But what do they have? They have people that are tough that train together. They eat whole foods, but they work together and everyone brings each other's level up. And it's just continued to they're the toughest human beings on the planet. It's really, really cool. So that's why I just love group training.
You know, the best part about training is that everybody thinks that you're working out your muscles and bones. It goes way beyond that.
Oh yeah.
Now with exercise, what systems in our bodies are getting activated and benefiting from it?
All of them, every single one. I've read so many brain rules, great book, a book about the brain said, if there's a miracle drug that exists on this planet, it is without question exercise. Like any book you read on any health system in the entire body, exercise is a huge benefit. Anything, digestion, mind, depression, anxiety, anything, exercise is huge. But the key is you just got to make it fun. You got to find an environment that's fun, so you look forward to going there. And again, for me, it just comes back to, being around other people and doing it with people. And then, of course, intelligent programming is good too. But you just got to have people, man. But yeah, it benefits everything, like everything, right? And then so many members so many people I work with, it's just so common to work out for vanity, right? Aesthetics, look better, lose fat. And then once people drop the 50 pounds, drop the 70 pounds, and then I'll do testimonial interviews with them. It's always, the biggest benefit is my mind. I'm more motivated. The brain fog is gone. I think clear. Like it's a must.
Amazing. Now, with this whole metabolic rate, obviously exercise affects our metabolic rate.
You're right.
What's the benefit of that? Because it has a direct effect on our heart health.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one thing you'll hear is called the basal metabolic rate. So this is how I like to explain it. So like right now, you and I are burning calories, yes? That's Otherwise, right. We'd be pretty dead. So the way, and then one thing, a big thing I don't like in the fitness industry is like Fitbits and trackers. So like the calories you burn during a workout really don't matter. Okay. So when you train properly and you build some muscle, right, and you get more lean body mass, you're burning more calories 24/7. So that's your metabolism or your BMR going up, right? So I get frustrated because some people, they're like mid-workout, like, oh, I only burned 200 calories today. It really doesn't matter. Like when you train just to boost everything. So you're just burning more throughout the day. And then exercise, it changes your hormones in your body, right? So a lot of fat gain, it's your hormone balances or imbalances. I really don't like saying that because how do you measure hormones to say what's balanced, right? So if you can't measure anything to say it balanced, well, then how could you possibly know it's imbalanced? But exercise with that can like make you more sensitive to insulin and things. It's just with people, I hate talking like that. It's a miracle drug. Like you just gotta do it, man. It benefits everything forever. Like,
and it's very addictive too, because you see the result right away.
It's very addictive, and that can almost get to a flaw. So like for me, I love it so much. I really have to like plan rest days because I could work out every day because I love the post-workout feeling, but I need to take breaks because your body needs to recover. I do realize I'm not 20 years old anymore. But one of the big things with exercise too, that it's so unfortunate. I don't know what it's like in your part of the world, but like I've had a few high school classes come over and I just, about 1 in 10 teenagers can do one push-up. You know how bad that is?
Yeah, it is amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
It's alarming.
It's tragic. It's like that should be head news instead of coronavirus. It really should, because it's like millions upon millions of people are just trapped. Well, and this is why. It's because in your youth you're building bones, and weight training not only makes your muscles stronger, but that's what makes your bones stronger. So a youth, teenage, in your 20s, you're building, and then the rest of your life, you're just trying to maintain what you built. Mm-hmm. So when you're weak and you don't exercise and you don't build any bone strength, you have a very, very small bank account of bone to try and save the rest of your life. And it's like nobody understands that in the health world. And it's tragic. Like if you're a teenager and you can't do one push-up, I mean, it's really, really unfortunate.
It is
it should be effortless. Like a push-up should be really easy for any teenager.
But these days, unfortunately, if it's not on a screen and we can't touch it, nobody wants to do it.
True. And that, who I blame for that? Us.
The parents too. Yeah.
That's who I blame. It's us, man. It's us. It's people like go outside and play. Get out there and play with them. Get off your phone. Get off your own damn phone.
You had a very good example that us people are the one who set the example for our kids.
Yeah, it's our fault, right? I can't stand when parents like, oh, my kids, he just wants to stay inside all day. Well, what do? right?
Yeah.
You're like, do as I say, not as I do. How about, lead by example and get outside? I was super proud, actually. There's a thing on Facebook where you just ask your kid random questions and they answer. And I said, what was your favorite thing to do? Or it was like, what was your favorite? He's like, play outside. I was like, yes, that made me really happy too. You know what I mean?
Then you have trained them well.
Keep the house boring, so outside's fun.
Now, let's talk about your book. You said the truth about weight loss.
Yes.
What is it all about?
Step by step. It's like I basically take it's one thing too. I'm actually changing. I hate the title, to be honest with you. I don't like it all. I'm going to change something like it's like going back to the basics. So I take 20 years of obsessive learning about fitness and nutrition, and like there's so much confusing information all over the internet, right? Eat keto, eat paleo, eat this, eat this. It's like it's information overload and it's really confusing. It doesn't need to be. So I like take all that and simplify it. Like I make it really easy. So most people, once they get through it, they're like, man, it just makes so much sense. It's like common sense. It's like, yes, once it becomes common sense to you, you got it. Like you got it. And then once it becomes common sense to you, all the gimmicks out there, you're just like, this is the dumbest thing ever, right? Here's an example I always give. I love this. So imagine you had an overweight dog. Does that happen? It happens, yes?
Yeah, because
in America
of us.
It does for sure. Yeah,
because of us.
Yeah, because of us. So let's say the overweight dog was lethargic and tired and didn't want to run around, and you took it to the vet, and the vet's like, this dog needs body wrapping and a detox shake. You'd be like, this is the dumbest vet in the planet, right?
That's right.
But humans buy it all the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy, the dumb gimmicks that are out there. And I was like, for any diet plan, here's the real awesome thing with the way I teach to eat, is the way I eat is the exact way my wife eats, and the exact way my 4.5-year-old son eats, and the exact way my 1.5-year-old daughter eats. It applies to everyone. The only difference is portions. That's it, right? So any diet plan, I think it's like, well, would you do this for your kids? Would you put your kid on a very low calorie starvation diet, right? Would you put your kid on this whatever new gimmick? It's like, of course not. It's the same thing. So that's how I approach it. I simplify it. It applies to the whole family. It's just, and it applies forever. Like you can do it forever. So my book breaks all that down and then shows like, I try and take the confusion, like science talk, and make it entertaining and understandable at the same time. That makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does.
And then try to make it entertaining. And so, yeah, I want to, it's really, my whole secret of weight loss is health. I just teach health. And then weight loss is, that's the secret. Teach health, strive for health. And then weight loss is a really cool side effect. You know what I mean? And I think that's big too, for just in America, especially, because instead of, I hate the word skinny. I hate it. I would much rather moms and just talk about healthy and love yourself and value health. And when you just value health and eat health, you stay fit and lean, and you know what I mean? And you just look good. So that's kind of, that's the books. I take people on a timeline of, how I got to where I was, explain certain things, and then put in a guide, like this is what you buy, this is what you make for breakfast, apply this step-by-step plan.
Perfect. Now, if our viewers and listeners are trying to get a hold of you, where would they find you, Dr. Steven?
Yeah, well, the good thing is my last name, CZYS, there's only a couple of us on the planet. So if you just Google Dr. Czys, CZYS, you're going to find me because I'm the only one.
Perfect.
Yeah, there's no,
and for the book, where do they get the book from?
Same thing. Google my name. You'll come to a page and you'll find the link there. But yeah, I need to have a contest for a new title, new name, just because I don't want it applies to the whole family, right? Yeah. So I want to take the weight loss out of it. It's just it'll benefit anybody.
To be honest, I read the few pages on it, and it is quite simplified version of a very complex matter.
That's the goal.
And it's easy to read. Very easy to read.
That was the goal. And the 100% the goal. And then I started too. I started the book with the most important thing, which is, they say, you ever heard the adage, like knowledge is power?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true. Knowledge plus knowledge applied is power. You can, if you have all the knowledge in the world, but you don't apply it, it's useless. Right. So the first part of the book, I spent a lot of time on mindset and how to apply and stick to what you learn, because that's the most important thing. You can have, like I said, you could have the best plan in the world, but if you don't do it, you're not going to see any, change. That's the big thing. The one exercise in the book, it does really, really good at that.
Dr. Steve Czys, thank you so very much for your time. Our listeners,
Appreciate it. I love talking
viewers,
about this kind of stuff.
hopefully we will get you back on, because we normally get questions after the interview, which will require us to bring the guest back on.
Yeah, I love questions.
Fantastic. Our listeners, our viewers, thank you for joining us. This was another interview brought to you by Wellness Influencers. Hopefully we will see you in another perfect time. Take care.